Okay, we are checking out another live performance from BABYMETAL. This song was suggested by multiple people in the comment section, so shout out to these people. And this is also a cover song, which I didn't realize they did any cover songs. But this is also an older performance from about 11 years ago. And I really enjoy all of their older performances I've seen, I just find them fascinating. Before we get started, I have a Patreon set up with all of my fully and partially blocked reactions linked down below if that's something you guys would be interested in. Also, feel free to comment any other bands, artists, or live performances that you'd like to see, and let's dive into it. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Okay, very interesting way to start off this song. The drummer comes in with a really nice drum fill, and then you have a very poppy melody and beat right off the bat, which I'm assuming is the chorus. I guess we'll find out here in a little bit, but you go straight into those verses where they're chugging and it just gets real chunky with the guitar, bass, and drums. And I have no idea how the original song for this sounds, but I'm going to assume that this is a popular song and they're just putting their own twist on it with the heavier instrumentation. And I know this first verse isn't over, but I want to go through the structure of this first verse again before moving on. I've noticed in their older stuff, Moa and Yui don't do a lot of straight singing. They do a lot more spoken word stuff that's kind of chanty. And then Sue does a majority of the singing. So the first few lines of this verse, the two are just doing some kind of chanty spoken word stuff. And then the singing comes in after the first few lines in this first verse. And then they do a little back and forth. And then the chanting stops and she just does straight singing here and they start doing a little more choreography. Okay, before we move on, I'm pretty sure that was the chorus there. So the first verse was interesting how they structured that dynamically, vocally, switching off with the younger two at the beginning and then ending it out on more singing. And then the chorus had a couple callback lines for them to do. And then again, that first verse was some heavier chugs on the guitars and bass and drums. And then the chorus comes in and it definitely has a poppier melody to it vocally. Instrumentally, it's still pretty heavy, but there's a nice piano line happening there in the backing tracks. That added a nice slightly poppier melody over everything the instrumentation is doing, which I'm assuming that piano melody is a melody that they have in the original version of the song. But it looks like we're going to get a different variation of a second verse here, so this should be interesting. Okay, so all three of them are doing spoken word here. Some screaming in the tracks. And this is kind of like a pre-chorus, I guess you would say. Some nice stuff happening on the guitars here. Okay, so listen what the guitars were doing in these transitions between the chugs in the second half of the second verse. They added in some squeals and some really fast kind of hammer-ons and just little things to fill in those gaps. That piano's still going. And And I think this is when the guitar comes in. Yeah, kind of a squeal there. A nice, really fast lick there. And then back into that chorus. Really nice guitar work in this chorus too. Oh, really nice bass slide there. Oh, yeah. Some more back and forth spoken word. Man, this is really heavy instrumentally. And then vocal melody comes in right at the end. Back into more chugs. Nice lead guitar. Oh, and there goes the double kick. Back into the chorus. Oh, nice. Man. Really nice vocal melody. And then it just gets heavy as shit. Wow. They elevate all the instrumentation and the vocal melodies at the very end so that it ends on a build. And so it doesn't end just on like the coarse instrumental outro, which could still work but would be a very basic way to end it. But I've noticed for a lot of different baby metal songs, they specifically write outros, which you don't hear a lot of bands do a lot of the time. They'll just end their songs either on the chorus or just the instrumentation of the chorus, or they'll write an intro riff and then end the song on the same riff from the intro. But this was a really nice way to end the song. I want to listen to that whole outro again one more time. So they also have that pause there. They throw in that pause right before what would be a normal transition. So everything cuts out for a second, and then everything elevates right as soon as it comes back in. And then the drums pick up. She's singing way up there. Brilliant. Yeah, so for the drums, at least on that outro, he switched to a steady double kick, which you didn't really hear throughout the entire song, and then ended it out on faster double kick. And the guitars were still doing similar riffs, but just changed the variations of the riffs they were playing. And I couldn't really tell if the piano melody had changed in the tracks for that last chorus, but it sounds like there might have also been a slight variation in the piano melody as well. So they pretty much changed every aspect of the end of that song so that it's not predictable. Yeah, that's some excellent songwriting right there. Really liked the energy overall in this song. Really liked what they did back and forth vocally. Their back and forth vocals added a lot more dynamics to the song overall. And the instrumentation throughout this entire song complemented that super well and really blended everything together. They structured this really well for this being a cover song. That was fantastic and had some really nice melodies, especially since this performance was from 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago at this point. Yeah, that was extremely impressive. Shout out to BABYMETAL. Shout out to their entire crew. Shout out to their team that helped them write all the instrumentation for this. And shout out to the people that suggested this one as well. That was awesome. Thank you guys for watching. If you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Also, go check out some of the covers that I've done on my channel, and I will see you in the next one.